Moscow's Sahel Gambit. Is Russia filling a power vacuum? A crucible in Moscow, Traore forges a united front against the shadow of instability. The biting wind of Moscow stood in stark contrast to the warm sun of West Africa, which Captain Ibrahim Traore was so familiar with. However, inside the Kremlin, a different type of intensity was building, one fueled by shared anxieties, strategic calculations, and a firm determination to redefine the security landscape of a volatile region. In a significant move that echoed beyond the Kremlin's walls, Traore, Burkina Faso's transitional president, convened a high-stakes summit of defense ministers from the confederal area. This gathering held great geopolitical importance and had the potential to reshape the future of the Sahel and beyond. This was not just a routine diplomatic meeting. It was a defiant assertion of sovereignty, a bold declaration of intent, and a strategic pivot towards a new paradigm of security cooperation. The backdrop was a region scarred by years of jihadist insurgency, political instability, and the lingering influence of external powers. The specter of terrorism, fueled by complex socio-economic factors and exacerbated by the retreat of Western forces, loomed large over the discussions. Traore, quickly rising to prominence on the African stage, arrived in Moscow with a clear agenda to forge a unified defense strategy, solidify strategic alliances, and seek concrete support in the fight against the multifaceted threats plaguing the confederal area. This was not a plea for charity. It was a call for partnership, a demand for respect, and a strategic maneuver to diversify security relationships. The weight of shared challenges. The ministers who gathered in Moscow carried the weight of their nation's struggles. They represented countries grappling with the relentless onslaught of extremist groups, the destabilizing effects of porous borders, and the urgent need to equip their security forces with the necessary resources and expertise. The discussions were not abstract. They were deeply rooted in the harsh realities of daily life in the Sahel, where villages are routinely attacked, schools are closed, and livelihoods are disrupted. Central to the deliberations was the need to move beyond reactive security measures and adopt a proactive, holistic approach. This involved strengthening intelligence sharing, coordinating military operations, and addressing the root causes of instability, such as poverty, inequality, and marginalization. The ministers recognized that military solutions alone were insufficient. A comprehensive strategy encompassing economic development, social cohesion, and good governance was essential. The Moscow pivot, a strategic reorientation. Traore's decision to hold the summit in Moscow was a deliberate and calculated move. It signaled a clear shift in Burkina Faso's foreign policy and a departure from traditional reliance on Western partners. This strategic reorientation reflected a growing sentiment among many African nations